Hello everyone. Let's talk about how President Vladimir Putin travels. Let's start with his private jets all the way to his cars. Russian President Vladimir Putin's private jet that he uses when he needs to get somewhere is a luxury. The $716 million jet, which is also called the Flying Kremlin, has a large bedroom fit for a king, an office, and a toilet made of gold. The private jet also has a lounge for meetings, a bar with top-shelf whiskeys, and a gym room with weightlifting equipment, treadmills, and a punching bag for workouts before landing. You might think that the level of luxury is too high, but in the president's defense, he does spend a significant amount of time on the jet. During his time in power, he is said to have flown more miles than any other Russian leader, including Vladimir Putin. Let's talk about another one. You can rest easy knowing that Vladimir Putin's jet, which can go as fast as 560 miles per hour, is moving quickly, up to 900 kilometers per hour. The Ilyushin IL-96-300PU has 4 jet engines and can fly a long distance. The Soviet Union made the plans for this plane, which flew for the first time in 1986 and went into service in 1993. Vladimir Putin travels with 3 other private jets that are the same as the one shown here. This is to make sure that he is safe. Each of the 4 planes is ready to take off, but Vladimir Putin won't know which one he'll be flying in until they take off. When the president takes off, 1, 2, or all 3 of the other planes that are there as backups follow. Number 1. Putin owns the IL-96-300PU plane. The huge snow-white plane commands respect just because of how big it is. Its length is close to or even reaches 65 meters, and the width of its wings is more than 65 meters. There isn't much difference between the standard passenger type and the IL-96 Technical 300PU. The presidential plane can take off with a maximum weight of about 270 tons, and it can fly at a top speed of 900 kilometers per hour. Both of these numbers are similar to the first one. Number 2. Modifications. The plane is certified to fly at a maximum height of 12,000 meters. But some changes have been made to the maximum distance that can be driven without stopping for gas. Putin's IL-96-300PU has a range that is significantly longer than that of the regular version. Number 3. The inside of the plane. The inside of the plane is richly decorated with tapestries and gold accents. This is different from the basic model, which mostly keeps the plane's appearance on the outside. The neoclassical style was used for both the furniture and the interior decoration. The current interior design was done by Ivan Glazunov, who is the son of the famous Russian artist Ilya Glazunov. His sketches were used to make the final product. Number 4. Provide ease. The inside has been redone from the top to bottom so that the president can work and relax in luxury without being interrupted. The presidential jet has a large office, a bedroom, and a fully equipped gym. Number 5. Special features. With a plane as big as the IL-96-300PU, it's clear that more safety measures are needed. The pilots of the Russian Aerospace Forces Special Squad are in charge of providing this coverage inside and outside of Russian territory. Vladimir Putin's personal plane has many layers of defense to keep out any possible threats, whether they come from the ground or the air. Number 6. Anti-aircraft defensive system. The body of the plane is covered with a specific substance that makes it less visible to RCS, which is an automated system that jams and confuses radars, as well as the plane's own anti-aircraft defense system. Since the safety of the plane is a state secret, the Federal Security Service is in charge of keeping any other information about it safe. Number 7. Russia's presidential fleet. Instead of just one plane, the 4 members of the Presidential Air Squad show that the president's favorite way to get around is by plane. This isn't a question about dependability, it's a question of safety. As soon as everyone knows there will be an international flight, preparations are made for each of the 4 planes to leave. It won't be clear which plane Vladimir Putin will be taking off in until just before takeoff. After the decision has been made, either one of the 3 remaining planes will follow the president as a backdrop, or all 3 will do so. The fleet of the Air Squadron is made up of a total of 68 planes. Only 64 of them are used, and the other 4 are stored in a warehouse. Number 8. Estimated aircraft model cost. How much does it cost to build a single IL-96-300PU presidential plane from start to finish? With the information we have right now, it's not possible to find an exact answer. We can make a good guess though, and the initial investment for the IL-96-300PU will be somewhere around 3.9 billion rupees. Also, the cost of the presidential passenger cabin, extra safety precautions, updated communication systems, and possible changes to the airliner's design could make this cost go up a lot. So let's get started with the cars now. Putin is usually driven from point A to point B by a group of military vehicles, but he is known to love driving alone. He has a soft spot for old Soviet cars and once drove George Bush around in a GAZ-21. Number 1. ZAZ-968. Putin's first car was the ZAZ-968, which is known as the clumsiest Soviet car. His mother won the lottery and gave him the money she got as a gift. Putin drove the car for thousands of kilometers before selling it to one of his KGB co-workers. When he became president, he got back together with the same ZAZ-968, which now proudly sits in his garage. Number 2. GAZ-21. The president of Russia is a big fan of Soviet cars, and in 2005 he bought a GAZ-21 Volga. During a meeting between the two presidents in 2006, Putin showed Bush how to drive in a saloon while Bush rode shotgun. Number 3. Niva. Putin bought a Lada Niva 4x4 from the Soviet era so he could go fishing in it. He said, "It will pass where Mercedes can't, and it drives great in the snow." Number 4. Kamaz. At the opening ceremony for the Kerch Strait Bridge, also called the Crimean Bridge on May 15, 2018, Putin drove a Kamaz truck. In about 16 minutes, the president led a group of 36 cars across the longest bridge in Europe. Number 5. Mercedes-Benz ML. Even though he prefers cars made in his own country, Putin rarely turns down the chance to test drive a foreign car. In 2017, he drove up to the old Vala Monastery in a Mercedes ML with his driver in the passenger seat. Number 6. Yo Mobile. The Yo Mobile was meant to be a series of hybrid electric cars, but it was never made. Only a few prototypes were made. But before the project was scrapped in 2014, Putin was able to test drive one. Number 7. Lada Kalina. In 2010, Putin drove from Khabarovsk to Chita, which is in Russia's Far East, and spent 4 days on the trip. For the trip, he chose to drive a Lada Kalina, which he said was excellent. Number 8. Aris Senat. Get moving during working hours, people often see Putin driving around in an armored Aris Senat limousine. He never turned down a chance to drive, so when he met the Egyptian president in Sochi in 2018, he gave Abdel Fattah el-Sisi a ride. Number 9. Formula One race car. Putin drove a Formula One vehicle in 2010. Even in my Zaporizhets, his first car, a ZAZ-968, I had more space, he said. Even though he felt a little tight, he pushed the gas pedal all the way to the floor and reached 240 kilometers per hour. Number 10. A harvester. It's not a car, but we couldn't leave it out. As he did as Prime Minister in 2011, Russia's president will try his hand at almost everything, including driving a huge combine harvester. Together with former President Dmitry Medvedev, they picked 12 tons of maize. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more.